Despite the political maneuvers and the media about the ground advance of the Israeli army in Nawaz Gaza, the realities on the ground show the opposite. In this regard, Israeli sources admitted that following the casualties of the Golani Brigade, in which the most prominent Israeli soldiers are present, this brigade will withdraw from Gaza. Israel's Channel 13 reported that the regime's army is withdrawing the Golani Brigade from Gaza because it has suffered many casualties during the conflict with the Palestinian resistance forces. The Golani Brigade, or the No. 1 Brigade of the Israeli army, includes the soldiers that the Israelis say received the most and hardest training, and a special account was opened on them in the ground battle in Gaza. However, this brigade has not gone anywhere against the Palestinian resistance forces, although the Israeli officials do not provide accurate statistics of the casualties of their army, especially the Golani Brigade, but many casualties were suffered, especially in Al-Shajaiyeh neighborhood. Last Wednesday, the Hebrew channel announced a major defeat for the Israeli army with dozens of dead and wounded in Al-Shaja'iyah and said that 10 army soldiers from the Golani Brigade were killed in the clashes in this area and according to the latest statistics. However, exact statistics of the number of injured people were not released. A group of soldiers of the 53rd Golani Brigade entered the buildings in this neighborhood and were suddenly caught in one of the ambushes of the al-Qassam battalions. A bomb exploded in front of the door of one of the buildings, as a result of which 4 soldiers were injured and communication with them was cut off. It was believed that these forces were captured. Other soldiers from Rescue Unit 669 moved towards this building, and after reaching there, they were shot by al-Qassam fighters, and 2 of these soldiers were immediately killed. By giving a like and subscribing the channel, you are helping an independent analytical media to continue its journey. Israeli media announced, 27% of the soldiers killed in the war are officers, and 3 brigade commanders and 4 battalion commanders and many other senior army officers have been killed in the war so far. According to the sources of the Israeli regime, the Nahal Brigade Patrol lost almost all of its commanders and the 13th Battalion of the Golani Brigade was also fatally wounded. The number of soldiers and officers killed by this regime has reached 489 soldiers and 156 soldiers since the beginning of the ground attack on Gaza. Earlier, Yair Golan, the former deputy chief of staff of the Israeli army and member of the Knesset, strongly criticized the performance of the Minister of War, Yoav Gallant, and the process of fighting in Gaza with the resistance fighters, and declared, "Our best children were killed in the war," without having any achievement or even clear goals in the war. There is no way to reach an agreement with Hamas or any other actor. While explaining the situation on the ground in Gaza, in an interview with the Israeli media Ma'arif, he admitted, "The reality is that the goal announced by the Israeli authorities about defeating Hamas is in conflict with the return of prisoners." Golan stated, "The cost of this war is heavy for Israel." In his analysis of the developments of the war, this Israeli army general said, "What bothers me is not the war itself. Are we stuck in a quagmire? Because there are missions and unfortunately there is also a price." Tamer Greenberg, commander of the 13th Battalion of the Golani Brigade, who until the previous week had been singing Regaz for the fighters in Gaza and addressed the resistance fighters, said, "Let's see who is better prepared for war. We have a very strong desire to attack and kill more people. We have from you," was also killed, and this was a shock for the Israelis.